Do the minute.
All right, we are gonna call the Clatsop County Fair Board work session to order. All members are present or on Zoom, so
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah, work session. We plan to do the walkthrough in this work session, but I have couple of items that I need to go through first. And then we can pop out and we can wander the grounds. The list of events and calendars, so that's the update on that. I did send you all a link to get the calendar connected to your Gmail. So if you guys have got that on there, that is the actual calendar that we use on a daily basis. So that will make it the most up to date, a second calendar for us to manage and make sure that they're consistent and updated. Some highlights, I suppose, the Civil War event was last weekend. They had good weather or good enough weather. I think that went well for them. We did get some complaints about booms and gunshots. And so we could do some better outreach on that. I don't know what, but a press release or something, maybe ahead of time that says, hey, the fairgrounds is doing an event with
Cannons and guns and
like, what do you call that? Blanks.
Yeah.
To go from there. That's just something to think about for the future. Next Thursday is Army training exercise that they're gonna do in the parking lot, and that's, anybody is invited to come and see that. So if you have some free time and you want to come see how that goes down, it's pretty cool. It's like a decontamination thing. The Flyways show is at the end of the month. And then it just kind of gets a little bit slower here, rolling into the winter season. Any questions on events?
No, sir.
A rolling calendar, convention, the rough stock show. We'll need to get the tax measure on the ballot sometime after the November election. So we'll start working on that. October 9th, joint meeting with the county commission. September 25th is the deadline for the fair board vacancy, and they've updated that to show 2 vacancies.
Okay.
And then something interesting, which I don't have a flyer or handout, when I went to the state fair last week for the OFA meeting, they're gonna do it fair college. So it's gonna be like a seven event thing that it's supposed to be for new managers, new fair board members type of thing. Just to go, it's similar to what they do for the Association of Counties.
Yeah.
They do a county college or something like that. They're trying to copy that same model to get new managers kind of up to speed with all of the things.
Yeah.
And really new fair board members as well. They're gonna give that a shot. They don't know if it'll be an every year thing or an every 2 years thing, or it'll be a one and done, but they wanna give that a shot. So what's on the forecast?
I could see that being a huge benefit.
Yeah. Tax measure review, I wanted to put this information in front of the team, because we're gonna have quite a bit of work to do to get this on the ballot for May. And I wanted you all to see, this is the best information that I have been able to find to understand the situation. What I do know is that it went on the May 2020 ballot, and the May 2025 ballot is 5 years later. But it is confusing how it says in 25-26 fiscal year.
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
so, not sure if that's like, maybe that gives us a second shot at it. I don't know, that's one of the parts. I mean, there's lots of questions that I don't necessarily know all the specifics on. So it's good that we get this going ahead of time. You know, like, we were gonna have to coordinate with the clerk's office, we're gonna have to coordinate with the county commission, because they have to do this resolution. And we gotta work with the tax assessor, because they gotta give us the numbers. So there's a lot of coordination to do. Short of us reading through all of this right now. Like I said, I wanted to get it to you
Yeah.
and have a discussion on what your guys' thoughts are. I think one of the most important things to get from the fair board is the story, right? I can do the work for getting all of the, the formalities done, but what have we got done and what do we want to get done over the next board or the next, cycle?
Exactly, yeah.
That's the stuff that we need to be working on as a team to come up with.
I think the biggest thing on here, other than, improving the grounds and marketing and growing the fair, is the, continued for your low cost facility for youth, charitable and public interest projects. Just making sure that people know that we're making this as available as possible to those groups that want to use the facility to continue to reach out to the community.
Okay. There were some discussion in the minutes from the last time through. It was at 5 cents, it went up to 9 cents, they dropped it back down to 7 cents. So that's part of the discussion, is where we want it to be. Status quo makes the most sense, but we can also see what that looks like as far as an impact. There was comments about it, feeling like maybe the drop was due to some of the impacts of the recession and getting back to where we are. Acknowledgement that the fair board's been really conservative
Yeah.
with the money. It's not like this is a slush fund. It's just enough to get by. Okay. Next is discussing concert and how we want to go about that. So, the earlier we can get on this, the better.
Yeah.
And knowing what your guys' opinion is on all of these issues, so. Romeo is asking if we want to reissue the same offer we made to Chase Rice, which that was $100,000, which that's one of the sheets I gave you there, so there's a add-on to this. It's the fair budget for the concert report.
Just back it in.
Yeah, and I emailed this to both Mallory and Sarah also. It is. It's the one pager. That guy right there. So. The left-hand side, the top is the expenses that are just for the concert, so 140,808. That's for the 2 days of concert. The numbers on the right, there's marketing, there's portable toilets, admission, security. Some of those costs are also part of the concert, which I haven't done enough to break out what those particular costs are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not anywhere near the majority of those costs, but there is a little bit more on top of this is what I'm trying to know. And then the bottom side of the left hand, that was our revenue. So we made 39,000 on tickets. We made for Joe Nichols, we made 6,950 on tickets for Selena. 58,000 on sponsorship, $845 on merchandise, and $12,687 on alcohol sales. For 117. So spent 140, made 117, and netted minus 23,000 almost between the two shows.
Yeah.
So that's something to be thinking about as we're thinking about the act that we want to book for next year. Both last year and this year. Last year, you guys had already booked the band. This year, we were still kind of going off of Trace Atkins' budget numbers.
Yeah.
So, just if we want to continue with a Latino night, I think we could do it for much cheaper. I think we could probably book the bands that I had booked on the side stage to be up there and they would be just as good. I feel like I had at least two bands over here that were probably combined in the $2,500 range that would have been just as good on that stage as they were on that stage.
Yeah,
And so, that's what, that's almost 10K off of that. The other is, so you take that 10K off, that's at 13,000, so you take 13,000 off of the 55. And we're down there in that 40,000 range budget.
yeah.
So that's the conversation is, what do we want to do for budget? Do we want to try to find a band for 40K? Do we want to have multiple concerts? Do we want to do Latino night?
Well,
Do we want it to be a free concert and not worry so much about breaking even? Just try to get more people here. Those are the conversations that need direction from the board on. You guys have any input, Mallory, Sarah?
Sorry,
mean,
I
oh,
can get myself
okay.
off mute. I definitely think some sort of concept.
I can't hear
Um,
her.
I guess I just don't know if we're the. Can you hear me? Okay.
You're kind of cutting out. I couldn't hear you in the first couple sentences.
Okay. It might just be
Nope, now
that I'm on the
stay
back
there.
road. I'm just saying that I do think that it would be great to be able to do a free concert. I don't know if we're at that point yet. Like, can we financially make that happen?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it would be tough, but we can look at these expenses here. I mean, we're basically talking about 40K in revenue, so take 40 off of that. I think you gotta basically find a free or a really, really cheap band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's some other
I
to consider is just
okay.
maybe
Never
free
mind.
parking for that night or something. I mean, there's other things to consider, but we gotta have to think through some of these options.
yeah. What were you gonna say, Sarah?
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
I know one of the names I saw on the list, which actually Paige sent me a list today that I just remembered. I asked her to go through it. And I will share my screen here with you. Can you guys see my screen, Sarah, Mallory? Well, can you see, I haven't shared it yet, but can you see are you on a video or are you just on?
All I can see is you guys.
Okay, let me.
I don't see your screen yet.
Share. This one. See that?
Yep, I can see that.
Okay, so I asked Paige to kind of look at some stuff, in that lower price range. I mean, they're pushing the Chase Rice purchase because they have a connection with them. And I think, we wanted to take our show. And they wanted us to work on that if we could. There's a couple in here that are, much more affordable. This Ashley Cook, she's routed. This Ella Langley's pretty hot. I know that. She's got that song with, Riley Green right now. The You Look Like You Love Me song. And it's kind of got that old Western. She could blow up. She could be the next Lane Wilson. I like this Red Baron. He's got that Johnny and June and the
I listened to those songs that you sent over.
yeah,
They're pretty good.
and I mean 10K, right? This guy could be, could blow up as well. Then Rodney Atkins was one of the ones you guys were considering last year. We could consider a lower offer on him.
Yeah, I'd like the only thing I'm not sure about the Red Farron guys. I don't know if anybody would know him. Like, I had never heard him before.
Yeah.
You know, and I listened to the songs and they were great, but I've never heard them before. And so,
And that's one of those are the rough things where it's like, you have half of the community that's never heard of the songs the acts we've been booking,
Yeah.
like, our kids, they have no clue who Joe Nichols is.
yeah, exactly.
And then we don't know who these people,
Yeah.
but they do. Is this something that maybe you guys want to get back together next week or the week after and talk about it a little more? Maybe look at this list a little closer and listen to some of these songs. Maybe ask around to some of your friends and see if any of these are resonating with anybody.
Yeah. I think it'd be good.
You say the sooner, it'd be fantastic if we could have an offer out before the end of the month. And then, a contract hopefully sometime in October.
Yeah.
Instead of being into April.
Yeah.
Or, okay. I'll send this email to you guys and we'll set a date for a follow-up meeting just to go over this.
I might have missed then.
What'd you say?
Is that
Well, you're breaking up pretty good, Mallory.
You're muted if you're trying to talk.
I'm going to suggest that we put a survey out with these people and see how many people actually know who they are. We could do that, but do it doesn't have to be through Evently or whatever. We can just do it like a Survey Monkey to post on the website or post on the Facebook page. That's what I would recommend. I know like two of these people kind of, and, but that 20-ish range would be a good area to find out from. On whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think that sounds good. I was kind of thinking the same thing. See what the community has to say about the people that we have available to us.
Okay, you guys have the full list. If you want to look through that and see if there's any other particular names that you would like to be part of this survey as well. This is just stuff that Paige kind of picked out, just being in the industry and
Yeah.
having an idea. And you're kind of looking for some of those up and coming, and I think that's really the main goal. Like, maybe they're not super hot right now, so we can book them for a better price.
Yeah.
And then they blow up between now and February.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd like to do what Sarah proposed and throw a survey out there to see what the community has to say about them and go from there.
Okay.
And then I am gonna be gone, but I could probably do a Zoom meeting until about the 21st of September, so I won't be available to meet in person.
Okay.
can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can now.
Okay, can we do a meeting either next week or the week after, and each of us, I don't know, I know we kind of have a committee for the concert, but with obviously not so many people to pull from, but maybe each of us can come to the table with like our top 4 or something like that we think would be best fitted, and then throw those top 4, combine them, figure out, kind of weed out those together, and then put top 4 out on a Facebook poll to get kind of buy-in.
Yeah, next Wednesday looks like it, next Wednesday, like in the afternoon would be good for me. I have a doctor's appointment next Wednesday. Is that one for you guys, Wednesday at like 3:30, 4 o'clock,
Not for in person.
or a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, I could probably do a Zoom meeting. Yeah, a quick one.
3:30 and 4, that's a hard time for me, but I don't know. I guess I'll make it work. Maybe I'll have to drive and do it.
if we can do it Zoom, I can make it work. We have ATMs coming in that day though, so I think it'll be cutting it close, but
Is there a better time for the two of you?
as long as we can do it on Zoom, I can jump on via Zoom. I don't think I can be there. Obviously today I kind of messed my schedule with first day of school and kids everywhere.
All right, we'll plan for 4 p.m. I'll send you guys a link. Hey, rough stop show. So we've got this contract with this guy, but we need to announce it. You know, I wanted to get some buy-in from you all before, you know, moving forward with this sponsorship program. I think the gate fee, I think $25 gate fee, and then we can do some promotions to drop the tickets down. Do some $20 tickets.
Yep.
It'd be great. I'd like to see how much sponsorship we can get.
Can I say something about the whole sponsorship thing right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so as a person that has a lot of people approach for sponsorships and you name it, end of year, you don't have a lot left in your budget. And we just reached out to a lot of people asking for a lot of money for a concert. So it's like you get to the point where you can't continuously ask the same people over and over again to sponsor events because it's kind of classless. And I am concerned that we won't be able to get to the level of sponsorships you need because we are at most people's fiscal year end, the last quarter. It hasn't been a great year for anybody because of the economy, and it was hard enough to get people to commit to the concert. So I'm a little concerned about that. Straight, brutal honesty.
Yeah.
100%. And it's a short turnaround. That's the other side of it too.
Have we thought about reaching out to like Peninsula Saddle Club and those types of groups to possibly be sponsors?
That was part of the question, and that I was hoping to get some feedback from you guys on was, you know, suggestions. You know, there are some folks that haven't sponsored our events, but that doesn't mean that they're not sponsoring other people's stuff. But
Yeah.
I think like Mallory is on the right track, like going specific to the people that actually are a part of that type of genre, for the lack of a better word. I think that's a good way to do it. But like community sponsorships right now, I think it's really hard. And you know, but I think that if you're gonna go for sponsorships, it needs to be a targeted group in that area. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't think we want to beat a dead horse and try to reach out to people that we've already, you know, kind of bled dry and did all of that. So I think if we do that we are going to have again, like another meeting, but it might need to be an in-person meeting. And we need to really look at the list of people we could come up with for sponsors, because we're going to have to pull stuff out of the box.
Right. Yes, and talking with Dusty, his suggestion was to try to find that headliner one, and like you're billing it as their show, like the Lums Clash of the Cowboys at the Clatsop County Fairgrounds or something like that. And then work on your other sponsorships, which basically you're selling a sign on the actual shoot that the bulls come out of. And you know, he had the numbers of each of those, the 6 shoots and the 1 out gate. He's like, those are really your good sponsorship opportunities for these events.
Yeah.
So the $1,000 to $1,200 to get your name on that gate, and you know, every time an animal comes out of one of those, somebody's seeing that, and they're referring to that shoot as the, you know, that's a lawn and tractor gate or the Peterson Cat gate or whichever.
I really just want to say this one more time. I really like if it's going to come back down to me and Mallory having to reach out for everybody for sponsors again, I am not going to be reaching out to the people that we've already reached out to, because number one, a lot of them did sponsor the concert, but they also just bought all of our children's animals and done such a gracious thing for us. And I feel like right now is just not a good time to be hitting them up for stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree I can see that. The one that I would say we would go to is Toyota, because then the agreement they sent us, they said they want first rights of refusal for future events. And so
Yeah,
That might be one because say, what do? We go to Ford and then we didn't go to Toyota first, something like that.
yeah, I mean, if that's something that they want, then
Right.
that makes sense for us to do it, and after that, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I agree
Can
with you. I
we,
agree with you, Sarah, that, you know, we are hitting a lot of people up for a lot, kind of back to back, so finding new sponsors is definitely gonna be important for sure.
A deeper
I,
bench.
I definitely agree, Sarah. Can we get it on the calendar then, if this is something we're gonna move forward with, to come up with an idea of different sponsors that we can get together? And I think that one needs to be more in person.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. I don't, it's not my favorite thing to ask people for money because I'll constantly ask for money. So, but I will help you, Mallory, no matter what.
Well, and at the end of this email, I did some budget numbers that show the
Mhm.
break-in costs. And so there's a ticket price with sponsorship and there's a ticket price without sponsorship. So if we were able to get the ticket price, we could get the sponsors in the level that based off of the program that Dusty suggested, the rodeo guy, what he usually does for his events. With the sponsorship, $15 to $27, depending on how many people we have. He says he hasn't not sold an event out in a long time. I mean, I don't know if that's a salesman talk or if that's, if there's something to that, but,
Yeah.
without sponsorships, it's $22 to $41. Depending on if we have 1,000 or 1,800.
Yeah, and
people show
even
up.
$30 for a ticket. Like that's pretty reasonable
Yeah,
these days to go to any type of show.
so we could probably make it happen and we're trying to prove the concept, like. Especially if we were to sell out the place and then show that this is a great sponsorship opportunity in the
Yeah.
future, like. Yeah, I know during the fair I had a conversation with Ronnie and he's like, now those sell beer, right? Like. There may be folks that may be excited to sponsor for a rodeo event.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know we got 2 months basically until the show, so when
So
would you? convene?
this is a fairgrounds or a fairgrounds event, right?
This is a fairgrounds event, yeah.
So do you have a marketing plan completed for this?
That's all what we're working on here, going through. I was looking for feedback from you all on these messages I sent out, but that was some of the story was. That was those are the action items.
Yeah, I think the idea is that he was hoping to get like a main headliner sponsor so we can start advertising it as the whatever sponsors rough stock show, right?
Yeah, so.
Like that part I
Yeah.
get, but what are we targeting here? How are we going to market this? That's what I'm more worried about because I just don't feel like we effectively had marketed the Selena experience and stuff like that, and we paid the piper for it. So I feel like we just need a solid marketing plan. Like, what are we gonna do?
So here's my action items here. We're create ticketing page, create an event page. Create the flyer, contact DMS, find vendors for concessions and merchandise. Work with radio to get campaign going, doing ticket giveaways and getting some commercial spots. Doing some Facebook targeted ads. I don't know if we want to go too far out of county, but definitely hitting a good radius.
Yeah.
Posters approximately 1 month in advance. I'm in town 2 to 3 weeks, suggested from Dusty at Howell Rodeo. Said when you get them about too far in advance, that the businesses just want to turn down.
Yeah.
And then getting some yard signs put up, 50 yard signs we can get purchased for about $200, but getting a better sign that shows more of what we've got that doesn't get lost in the lettering.
Yeah.
Then we need to book some rooms and get some feed. That's the game plan.
Cool, so we need to find a title sponsor.
Yeah.
That's the next step right now, right?
Yes.
Can we put a date on the calendar to get together like ASAP and do a meeting on like just this specifically to go over all of those things? Because I think it's going to take a good, decent meeting to knock all those things out.
Yeah. What dates work for you?
Um, Let me pull this up really quick. We're already meeting next week, right?
So we're meeting with the 4-H Association on Monday. I have a meeting at 6 PM on Tuesday, so I can meet anytime before 6 PM. And then we just scheduled our concert meeting for 4 PM on Wednesday.
Okay. Um, uh, well, I mean, what does everyone else feel like? I feel like we can't wait is the only problem. Like we can't push it back.
I don't, whenever.
Tuesday at 5.
Matt?
I gotta be gone I gotta leave by 5:50.
Yeah, I can make something work, but like I said, I'm gonna be gone out of town on vacation, and my family will not appreciate me being on the phone the entire time for vacation. So,
Yeah, no, I'm thinking, are you leaving this week or next week?
I'm leaving Monday.
Okay, so is it too early to try to get something in this week?
No, let's do it this week. It'd be easier.
Okay, that's
I am
how I'm
doing
feeling.
vacation and I'm flying out of town tomorrow. I will be gone until Sunday.
Okay.
And Mallory and
Um,
I can't do it because then we're a quorum, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You guys can hold a public meeting, it just has, I don't think I necessarily have to be in present for your meeting, but I mean.
you kind of, yeah,
It'd be
you kind of need to be there. We could always push it back to the next week.
It's getting to be.
Yeah, that's getting out there a
I
ways.
feel like that's way too far out. Is
I
there
do
any
too.
way that we can hold a public meeting, like sometime this week, Matt and Sarah and I, and then, Kyle, like if you're able to be on the phone, if you feel like you want to be a part of it, I think the majority of the things that we need to figure out and plan out are going to be, who we're going to ask sponsorships for, like what is that going to look like? Who's our targeted audiences? We need to look at South County and we need to look at Washington, Long Beach area as well. We need to look at different associations. Like we could look at the NJRA Association, which is Northwest Rodeo Association, for possibly doing that. We could also maybe look at some of the different like royalty groups for the rodeos, um, and see if they would like to do any of the announcing. So
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else is okay with that, but I think I think we really need to have a meeting this week if we're gonna make it, if we're
I
gonna do it.
agree. Time is the essence.
Coordinate a meeting for Thursday, but I will be on East Coast time, so, I can set up a Zoom meeting, but I don't know how that works in practice for you guys meeting, if you're meeting here. Or where you're meeting at.
I don't know. I don't know.
Matt, what do you think?
I personally think that asking our fair board or fairgrounds manager to work on his vacation is I don't know. I don't like that idea. I'd rather just do a Zoom meeting the following week or something like that if I have to.
Can you guys do Tuesday at 5 o'clock, or 4 o'clock? Be the. 10th?
I can make Tuesday at 5 work.
Five would work better for me, big time. That would work good for me.
That can work for me, just I gotta be in Alney at 6 o'clock. Which is close.
Okay.
We'll put that rolling. Review the surveys. So I have,
So before we move on there, can we just get the ball rolling on the title sponsor ASAP?
Yeah.
Like, let's just hit Lums up because they want first right of refusal.
yeah,
So let's just hit Lums up. And if they don't want to do it, then we go to Astoria Ford or Kia, something like that, and see if somebody
Tractor
wants to do it.
Supply.
Yeah, Tractor Supply. See if anybody wants to do it and be the title sponsor.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, I know there's a lot of other sponsorship opportunities, but those guys are usually,
Yeah, and I think we can announce it. It'd be ideal to have a title sponsor when we announce, and then we can continue to work on those other ones, and that's part of our announcement.
Yeah.
It's like, we're selling Bucking Chain sponsorships.
yeah, exactly.
Or, get them and get tickets and get your name out there and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you guys think of anything just between now and tomorrow morning, and you wanna just text me some other businesses that you think might be worth a shot for a title sponsor, I'm happy to make those phone calls tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Okay. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
The other thing that we could look at too is like, I don't know, I know it's not quote unquote local, but Wrangler and Cinch and all of them have a pretty easy application. I've done it before, so that's something to think about too.
That is an awesome idea.
I think the second we announce this thing, people are gonna be very excited about it,
I think so too. I
especially
really
if
do.
we can figure out a way to keep those ticket prices very affordable.
Yeah.
Which the sponsorship will help with that. Okay,
All right.
surveys, so, I forwarded you guys those survey responses. Were you guys all able to get into Eventany and see?
I never did.
Yes, I am. And it's so much fun. And that's the geek part of me talking, but I've already read all of these, the things you forwarded, because I logged in and was watching them. Pretty cool.
Gotcha. There's definitely, and I didn't hand these to you yet. That was where I was working on, and then right before the meeting, I had a technical difficulty with my computer with IT. General public survey. So we exported all this, and then Kristen cut and pasted them all into a way that was easy to read. Lead vendor survey. Marketing survey. Concert survey. Which we're running out of time.
That's fine.
It's looking like maybe we postpone our walkthrough for the next meeting when you guys are here.
Yeah, that's probably smart anyway.
Volunteer survey, there were 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, sorry about not being there today. I did not think about, I even brought the wrong kid to school today and had to go home and make the other one get in the shower.
Oh, no.
I thought it was kindergarten. Thought it was kindergarten's first day today. Nope, not so much.
I don't know if there's a particular spot you guys want to start. Or if you want to take these and then follow up, or.
Well, I was kind of hoping that maybe we'll get some more responses. Like on the food vendor, we have barely any yet. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we don't get an overall picture yet. Do you think people can we send out reminders to the surveys? Because I don't think we're going to get a good picture looking at it, most of it like that.
We have been, asking, we've asked several times
Mhm.
for them to respond and give them some
I
reminders.
only got the one original one for being a sponsor. I didn't get any reminders or anything.
Well, if you had submitted one, then.
I
you were-
haven't.
Oh,
I sent reminders to food vendors and non-food vendors and volunteers. And so sponsors, still time, I can send out reminders and want to sponsors, yeah.
yeah. The sponsored, we've got. what- It's kind of a little confusing to look at because it says 6 responses. But then, yeah, so 6 responses. 6 responses in the concert sponsor, which, I mean, that's, I think, close to 50% of the sponsors that we had. Yeah, I mean, we can revisit this, we can. Revisit this again next month. We want to see a little bit more time go by. 26 on marketing. 2 on food. 68 on general public. Yeah, that was all. I mean, there's, just looking at them, you know, there's definitely 2 camps. There's the camp that wants to have a carnival back.
Yeah.
And there's the camp that loves the fair the way it is, so. I think, you know, the most important thing is looking at this and looking at these things and how we can improve the fair. Right?
Yeah. One of the big reoccurring things on here is garbages on the negative part.
Yeah,
Is, you know, just, I know it's tough to keep up with, you know, but man, it's like, I remember when we had somehow, I don't know how, but we got the sports teams in here and the coaches obviously had to be committed to, or a
Yeah.
parent. And they were running garbage all week. Like one day it was this school, the next day it was this school. And I don't know, I know the football team was here, I know the baseball team was here, I think maybe the soccer team. And so they would run around, just do garbages all day long. That's all they did.
one of the things that most of the fairgrounds use as a tool is they give out free ride bracelets.
Yeah.
And so we don't really have that carrot. Go ahead.
Donation for their club,
Yeah.
so you could use some of your volunteer funding and
Yeah,
donate to their club, because they're all trying to pay for whatever
Uniform,
sport that
gear,
they're
bus
doing.
ride, yeah.
I mean, our dance team would do it because they're trying to pay for admission fees and
yeah. It's also a good thing to be thinking about when all of these groups are coming to us and asking us for discounts or waivers.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you guys scratch our back too.
Yeah.
For sure. I think, you know, I've heard the feedback about it and I've asked people, and some people are like, oh, I thought it was really clean.
Yeah.
So you hear people that thought it was cleaner than it had been in the past, and then hear people that thought it was dirty too, so it's tough. You know, I've heard stories of not even being able to see the garbage cans because there was so much trash stacked around them. I
Yeah.
don't think we had those problems this year.
No.
I think something that will really help is a better communication plan with our temporary help. Like, a way to contact them without having to go out and basically tie a balloon to them or something and find them. Say, hey, let us know, because, you know, our staff is doing there's like 2 sides of the program. There's one getting the cans, liners replaced and the bags put up into a spot where they can be hauled out. And then there's hauling the bags to the dumpster.
Yeah.
And so getting that communication between those 2 parts of our operation to be in better sync will help a lot, which should be a relatively easy fix. Just need to focus on. And
Do we
then-
have, sorry, do we have some sort of like checklist, or these are your duties, or are they just coming in and we're just saying, hey, this is what we think you should do today?
So we have that, I sent you guys the team's contract and then the job description that we use to explain
Right.
to. So we explain that stuff to them, but
But do
Um,
we have, but do we have a checklist? That's what I'm saying. Like you can have a description, but a description and a checklist are two different things.
right, yeah, and so in that message, I said, what our plan would be for the future would be to, give them that as a checklist or as a job description. But then also try to work with them before the event, like. Not necessarily the day of, but try to bring them in like a week in advance and kind of train them, like. Give them the rundown, this is what we want from you, because once the fair is going and they show up, basically right when the fair starts. It's
nuts.
it's nuts, yeah. It's like we're barely able to get the gate open and we've got 10 things that still need to be done, so. We have a vision of how we can improve working with the teams folks. A checklist, job description would definitely be one of them. Then another one was like having a designated lead man on their team, that person is helping us.
Yeah.
Manage those people while they're here throughout the day. Even if it's, somebody from the team's organization and not necessarily the team's employee. If I'm explaining that right. Yeah. Say there's lots of people that were very happy and there were some people that were unhappy, so. Can sort through them, and that's how it is with everybody. What you see on. The surveys and what you see on social media, it's like there's definitely polarized groups of people. I think the important thing is to try to take the feedback and improve. I feel like we took the feedback from last year with the accessibility and we really, improved on that. There were some other things that, we needed to get in control, the security. We ran into security and made them more of a community and community minded instead of bouncer type operation. And I think that was a success. And so we'll do the same thing from this. We'll take this feedback and we'll work on this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. What else we got in our work session
I
here?
think it was just the walkthrough. And obviously we ran out of time for that, so, oh, wait, yeah, we did talk about the measure.
Yeah.
In the meantime, if you have anything specific that. Right now, we can start working on those, we don't have to wait until there's a walkthrough. But building a whole maintenance plan, there was no maintenance plan when I started, and
Yeah.
it's a goal to get worked on now, and. We are have tackled things on the property and made improvements that, if there's particular things that you guys want us to done, we can work on.
Yeah, all right. Do you guys have anything before we end the work session?
No.
I don't know if this is something that we want to add in later on, but talking about getting on the ball about, if we can't do a carnival at fair, maybe doing a rodeo or something. I know that I could easily get a group of committee people to head that up, but our biggest feat is the county trying to allow us to use that property down below. So I don't know if that's something we want to keep top of mind, if that's something that we want to try to move forward with. Really the only thing that we would have to make sure we would get done is the property, allowing us to do the property down there.
What you got, Courtney?
Do you know if it's in the 100-year flood zone?
In the floodplain, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
so the FEMA buyout, that will be a hard,
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be
well,
tough.
it's gonna be beyond tough.
Even if we've done it, I mean, yeah. So how do we-
Yeah. The FEMA buyout coming through is gonna put us in a position where you can't build in the floodplain, let alone have any activities in the floodplain.
So how are we gonna park down there?
It's a good question. I would talk to the county It's coming, like, we have to adhere to it, by basically January of this next year. And so right now we're exploring whether or not we can file a lawsuit against the federal services or not.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, it's gonna put us in a position where like you can't build in Warrenton unless we do habitat conservation plans across the county.
Yeah.
So,
So even if we're not building anything, like we can't even just use the property.
Those are the questions that are kind of uncertain. I think we could ask Gail to come down and
Yeah.
she would help guide us through it. I know that it is an agricultural wetland, so there's uses that we can do in there. The real tricky part is once you started to haul in fill material.
Yeah.
you can't build road or anything.
And so when you need to put fill in for the footing, that will be the issue. Currently, the way we are like today, a rodeo is definitely easier to do than a motorsport event because we have that motorized
Yeah.
vehicle limitation. But it's the fill that's it's considered fill to bring in the footing that, you know, we would be hauling out again, which I think is pretty bizarre because it's an agricultural wetland, so it could literally be plowed
Yeah, it could be spread over the,
and reseeded. So there's definitely some confusing things and.
So if that's something that I wanted to try to move forward with, who would be the person that I could go to?
Yeah,
We'd start with Gail, the community development director. And she's happy to come and meet with you guys as a board and make the presentation. It'd be good if we had some particular questions ahead of time that we wanted answered. But that's one of the action items to work with her on, getting those conditions of approval updated to remove the motorized racing piece.
Yeah.
Remove that setback on the property line and the camping. But there has been new revelations since I talked with her last with all this biop stuff.
I think it'd be great if we could get it going, Mallory. That would be awesome to get something like that going. So I know I would love it. And I know that, what was the county councilor that wanted it
which one?
last year at that's why.
I thought it was Toyota, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, he was.
Okay, so do I have permission to reach out to Gail and start that conversation?
Yes.
And
Do it.
it would be like if you could do it as current use before the dates went into effect. Maybe that's a question to ask her also, because there's a current versus future use conversation. So if you can make it current use,
Right.
you might skate in before the deadline. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
So we had our managers meeting today and there was discussion, they're basically gonna be having a hearing for a moratorium. That she says needs to be effective by December 1st. So that's kind of the hard deadline to get something. rolled in.
Yeah.
But there has been rodeos out here before that had permits issued for them, so.
Find that location. It can be current use.
I'll put that on our rolling calendar as an issue to work on. So I can reach out to her too and see if she'll come to the next meeting, but if there's work that we can get going before then, it'd be great.
I do know you cannot expand on your agricultural footprint. So if you have an agricultural footprint, great. You cannot expand on it. So, yeah, anyhow.
Okay.
Wait, there's one more thing, sorry,
No,
it
it's all
kind of goes with the survey. Piece, I had forwarded to you guys the attendance numbers for 2022, 2023, and 2024. That's this sheet with the green front. These are the best numbers that I've seen. I don't know how accurate they are right now, but 8,120 in 2022. 6,390 in 2023 and 6,533 in 2024. And So that was one of the requests that you guys had was to see the attendance numbers. Uh, I don't know how they got these numbers for
Yeah.
2022, for 2023, it was clickers for the securities at the gate. And then these numbers for here were, scans.
Okay, so there's a big difference between admission numbers from, oh, that's 23 as a total. I can't see. I'm on my phone. This sucks. Also, don't get sick. What was our difference in pricing for ticketing this year?
It was the same pricing as last year.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, I don't know where all these people were. I don't know. They weren't where I could see them. So odd.
You know, in the past, they were working off of, volunteers to do admissions, so.
Yeah.
You know, what we have this year is pretty decent numbers. That first day. I know they weren't scanning the 4-H bracelets, and then the following days they were scanning the 4-H bracelets, so this includes. It's a little confusing as far as what was 4-H and what wasn't. I think I can go into Eventany and pull out like a more detailed daily transaction log. And send you guys that, and it might make a little bit more sense on the day by day.
Yeah.
But for the uses of giving you a comparison year to year, just went with the per day.
Well, I think that it'll be more accurate next year because you're going to be using the same ticketing system next year as you did this year. So I think the apples to apples will make a lot more sense for us looking at it side by side next year versus this year.
Yeah.
And we would spread out, right? We had the fairgrounds spread out a little bit more, so. Not being as dense in a particular area, one time or another. Maybe that was some of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that I'm the majority of the time I spend my time on the chicken coop side of the barn, and we're used to having vendors down that strip. So there wasn't any vendors really down that strip, with Brew 22 there usually and Ribs by Rob's. Those were highly frequented areas and they weren't over there. So for me, being on that side of the barn looking out, it looked like there wasn't a lot of people. And that's probably why.
Yeah, and so I guess this is another report, this one. There's I sent you guys a redacted vendor list. And we had, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 vendors this year with 2 cancellations. The month before the fair, so, and one of them was 2 booths, so we would have had 15 vendors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 vendors. Last year we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 vendors. 2022, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So in 2022, there was only 11 vendors, food vendors.
I don't know what everybody was complaining about. We made $36,000 in alcohol sales for crying out loud.
Well, that was gross. That's not what we got.
That's what I mean.
And so there is
Everybody
still a
should have been in a
missing
pretty good mood.
number from a vendor that for this year, which you can see their last year number was 17,000, and I'm certain that vendor did a little bit better. So I think that number is really going to be right around that 20,000, maybe 22,000. So you can see our gross with that takes us up to 168 in gross sales this year, where last year it was 148 gross sales. Now, some of that might be inflation. Some of that's definitely in the alcohol. But we would have had the same amount of vendors as we had last year if that those two didn't cancel on
Yeah.
us the month of the fair. And that,
I would just like to state now that we need to work on getting a coffee vendor for next year now. Like now, we're locking it in. There will be no cancellations, no ignoring. We're gonna get a coffee vendor.
I've talked with several coffee vendors around town that sounded like that they would be interested in doing it. At the
I'm very
time.
picky about my coffee, so these need to be ran by me.
And, yeah, for sure. And, you know, it's tough because staffing has been very hard for everybody.
Yeah.
But then there's also some investments that folks would need to make in order to have a mobile operation. But even like, I think even Dutch Bros has a mobile thing if you get to them. And
They only serve rebels and cold stuff like that. It's kind of silly. But when we went through the crisis of the no coffee this year, you know, I did some research on Facebook, and there are actually traveling coffee places that go to fairs. It's just the fact that they were already booked at that point. So if we
Right.
start, you know, really looking into these vendors that are, this is what they do, this is how they make their living, and try to lock them in early, that would be ideal.
Yeah, the lemonade guy called 3 people for us that week before, and he was trying, but like I said, they were all booked already. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm sure one of these 3 would do it for us next year if we talk to them early enough. I 100% would love to get our recurring vendor application out no later than November, and then get it out to new vendors. First of the year. I
Yeah.
think that's kind of what I've heard from the other fairs on what they shoot for. They're giving the reoccurring a first shot at it with enough time for them to apply. I feel like some of our reoccurring vendors are the last ones to apply every year, but
Yeah.
I'm making it clear to them that, you know, we want to give them preference but we also want to make sure that we're having good variety.
Yeah.
There's lots of good information at convention where we're talking about vendors specifically and vendor acquisition.
Okay. We're gonna wrap up our work session here and move right into our regular meeting. All members are present. Where's my, uh-oh, I lost my sheet here. Stand by. Well, I can't find my packet, man.
That's it. You want the second page on there. Right there.
There we go. Okay. So all members are present. We needed to approve the agenda. So if anybody wanted to approve the agenda, let me go ahead and get that done.
I'll go ahead and approve the agenda.
I second.
Okay. At this time, we're going to open it up for public comment. Anybody wishing to address the fair board concerning items of interest on or off the agenda may do so. Person addressing the fair board would, when recognized, give their name and address for the record. All remarks will be addressed to the whole board and limited to 3 minutes per person. And we reserve the right to delay any action if required until such time they are fully informed and the matter is scheduled as an agenda item. Is there any public comment? No. Okay. This is Bellingham up in the back.
Is Astoria Astoria basketball there? I can't see.
I'm assuming that they are here. Yes, there's a bunch of guests back.
I don't know if they are on the agenda or if this is where they need to pop in, but I do know that they have an ask.
They are on the business agenda. Yep.
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure.
Thank you so much. Okay, we need to go ahead and approve the consent calendar. We've got July and August Minutes to approve.
I went through those beforehand, but I make a motion to approve both sets of minutes.
I second.
Okay. All in favor? Guessing you're both in favor of being as.
I.
Aye.
Sorry. Stupid mute.
All right, motion carries. Board member reports. I have nothing to report at this time. Sarah, do you have anything to report?
I don't know if this is the greatest time to do this, but I am going to just do it anyway. I would just like to say on the record how grateful I am for the two past board members that recently resigned. Callie and Brittany put a lot of time and effort into the board over the years, and they really cared about the Clatsop County Fair and the community. And so I would like to take a minute to thank them for everything that they've done, and just state that I really appreciate them.
I definitely second that.
Yeah, I think we all really appreciated everything that they did, and their hearts were definitely in it, and it's time to just move on to different things. So. Mallory, do you have anything to report?
I do not at this time.
Okay, we're gonna move over to the manager's report.
Very, very busy month. I mean, fair alone was busy, but then we had fishing tournaments, camping events, reenactments, bull riding. Just the number of just camping reservations alone is the stack of camping reservations is just incredible.
Yeah.
So all those people require tons of customer service. So there's a lot of. It was a very busy month. I think we made a lot of progress on a lot of things, and even though we had all this going on, August is a good month for us.
Yeah.
Just kind of, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's the busiest month for our county.
Yeah.
For sure.
I contacted Jason Feldman with the Sterling Talent, the folks that we did the arena concert with. I wanted to have a conversation with them just about options and potential, and also his input. We've been playing phone tag. I've left him a couple voicemails, and he's left me a couple voicemails, but so just kind of wanted to put that in front of you, and I'll get a little bit more info from him, and then we can go from there on if it's something we want to do again. I think some of it is getting some feedback from him on other events. That leads to something else that was discussed at the OFA meeting, just across the board with the other fair managers, just they use the phrase unprecedented level of events. Like, if there's so much saturation with the number of events that are happening right now.
Yeah.
That everybody is still fighting for their piece of the pie that is much smaller. So it seemed like across the board, they're all having good events, they're still being successful. We're having to grind at them, but there's definitely less to go around. The whole Ticketmaster Live Nation thing has done a big hit on them. We're basically locking in a big corner of the entertainment music market.
Yeah.
And just hearing from vendors in events that their attendance numbers are down. People are holding on to their money a little tighter. They're talking about going back to the talent search format instead of the American Idol format, which they want to bring back that path to the fair. The American Idol piece kind of limited the people that could come from the county fair to the state fair. So by allowing the dances and the talents and the singing and all of those things, they can get a wider range of age groups and hopefully participation into the state fair. Picked up those cans from the surplus when we were there. We got 27 cans for $385.
Cool. That's good.
I don't know how many cans we had before. talking with Kelly, he says it feels like there's less cans than we've had before.
Yeah.
So an inventory of the number of cans we have, and maybe we take a pile of them and we wrap them and we store them in the off season and keep, a limited number out, and then we have the ones we need for the fair that are available.
Yeah, it'd probably be smart.
Like, do we need 90 cans out the rest of the year? And then just pull them out for Crab Fest and Scan Fest and prepare. Wi-Fi, been working with like IT on the Wi-Fi. We kind of have a little bit of a game plan. I was hoping for a little bit more input from you all, or really anybody, on any more specifics about what your Wi-Fi and accessibility issues were during the fair. I know I had a couple of vendors that said, it was slow. But if there were particular spots or locations that you knew. So there's kind of 3 different options. One is just replacing the devices, like there's 4 in here. Really, we could probably do what we're doing these 4 with 1 new one. And so do we really need to replace all 4 of these? It's easier to replace them, but it's gonna be a higher investment than the dollar amount. The other is adding some new ones, on the buildings that we can just easily run a new cable. So there's replacing, there's adding additional. And then the third that we were talking about was trying to get better signal up to the concert grounds. So we were looking, that was the last priority, because it was gonna be some trenching and some excavating and conduit and all that. But we were looking, and there's actually overhead overhead pole line from my office all the way to the dairy barn.
Oh, yeah.
So we could potentially run a connection to there and then hang something on the back end of the dairy barn and shine it up to there,
Yeah.
to the grounds. Really, for the cost of the cable and some new devices, so. We have a game plan we're working through, it's just gonna be budget sensitive. We didn't necessarily budget for it. We have dollars in our budget, ideally for something like that, and it'd be nice to wait till we're a little further and go ahead.
Did you have a vendor problem during Crab Fest?
No,
So I'm wondering if you just change your Wi-Fi password every day
yeah,
or every couple of hours and just inform your vendors. It kicks the 100 of kids off
right,
the Wi-Fi that all got the vendor password from somebody because they share it with each other.
right,
So I'm just wondering if maybe that might be the issue
There's some
and
of
not, the fact that we don't have service, because there's a lot more vendors at Crab Fest than there were up there.
yeah. So
So,
there was a couple
sorry,
of people.
that's the parent in me.
And there could have been something with the whole network. I had asked IT if we could get in there and see in real time.
The
If we're
other
having- Go ahead.
The other thing is when you talk about location, like yes, were vendors, but they're inside. They're not outside the building either. So that might be a factor as well.
We were right here, but amazing.
You had good connection, really good, yeah,
We were surprised. We were a little nervous about that.
okay.
So
So maybe it's just outside we really need to focus on. How was it in the barn?
Fine.
I never connected to the Wi-Fi, so I don't know. I just heard from vendors.
On the Wi-Fi, it was
Yeah.
fine.
Well, I was on the vendor Wi-Fi for 2 meetings. It was fine.
Yeah.
I
Inside.
was on vendor Wi-Fi and it was fine inside the barn.
And that was one of the things I was trying to, of course, I had computer issues that they had just replaced my computer, so I was trying to print off a map and we could like. Make some arrows, say this
Yeah.
one points that way, and try to figure out like where our grids are.
So the major one that I had talked to me twice was the curly fry place. And
Yes.
it was like first thing in the morning that I went over there and they were already having troubles. And they were really nervous for Saturday. And I know that they did come into some problems.
What I discovered, because I didn't even know where all of the access points were before I walked through with IT. I'm like, no, I know we have them everywhere, but
Yeah,
I hadn't walked the property and pointed them all out myself. But that corner of the building, there's nothing. So there's one on that corner pointing that way, but there's nothing that points this way. And then there's one by this door that points this way, which really there's nobody over here
yeah.
that even connects to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I was just off the top of my head, I was thinking it'd be nice to just do one in this corner.
Yeah.
That shines across everybody over that way, and then, like you said, one on the back of the dairy barn,
Pointing up to the concert.
pointing up toward the concert and just see if that does it.
And then we're replacing like one of these in each of the rooms.
Yeah.
This is getting to be a 7 or 8-year-old. It's come a long ways.
That's
The amount-
completely outdated. Yeah, you need to.
The amount of people that can connect to this is at a tenth of what can connect to a newer
Yeah.
unit just per device. There is another conversation. We pay $1,200 a month for internet connection. But it'd be nice if we could go back to being able to increase and decrease that.
Yeah.
During the slow season, because. I mean, that's $18,000 per year that we're paying for internet, and we really only need fast internet in
For 2
April,
months.
June, and August.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something we should look
I
into.
think there was something though, like there's upgrades and they probably had to do a long-term contract to run a new cable. But
No.
has that gotten, how close are we to the end of that we can renegotiate?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working on the request from you guys had, said it's been a really busy month. I think I've got you guys the majority of the stuff you've asked for. Some of it you got in the packet or in the email I sent to you today. If you have any questions, I'll review the list again and see if there's anything that I've missed. And if there's anything that you guys want to talk about. Oh, I can't read my own handwriting. Oh, we talked with Scandinavian Festival on their survey. And then got the contact info for Yvonne and Scott. Yvonne does their marketing, Scott does their signs. Scott's out of the state for now. He says he'll be back. They say he'll be back in end of September. Yvonne does their marketing. Brenda had asked her if it was okay for me to contact her. She didn't want to give her number out without telling her she was going to. So I'll call and have a conversation with her. But what I got from Brenda is, yes, they do a survey. They have it on site when they're here and they shoot for getting like 200 to 300 people to fill out their survey. But they have not compiled the results of the survey yet. So she said it could be another month or two before they get that done. And that they would share that information with us once they get that done. The sound system, the guy's gonna get us a quote. I know the state fair ended yesterday. I think he's their sound guy for that. Hopeful that that's his last busy event and he
Yeah.
can circle back and get us a quote and we can get that running. I'd love to have that done by the rough stock event. Yeah, kind of talking about a date on that, the Wi-Fi thing. Yes, I'd love to get the Wi-Fi done ASAP. Want to be budget sensitive. It's kind of like if something happens. But really it's April, right? That's kind of when we have to have those upgrades done. That's when Craft Fest is.
Yeah.
That's when the next big event is, between now and then, yeah, we can get it done, but we have some time. And IT is like, oh, that's great. We can work with April.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
when you tell me I need it done this week is, but we'll get a final number. If we can make something happen and start getting some upgrades for a couple $1,000, that's good. But if it's 10 to 15 grand, then
Yeah.
we'll want to look at phasing the project. And then tables, we are trying to work through tables. I think we're just gonna need to replace some of them. We need to sort through some of them. Been trying to find just the brackets and just the legs and haven't had much success. I think a couple more parts would be worth it just to save the life of newer tables that come in, but.
Yeah.
Way I understand it is, it's really just the rounds that we're having the issue with, that most of the other tables there.
Yeah, I haven't seen any issues other than the round tables.
And then I shared with you all, I think you have it there, but, we don't have anything as far as the checkout list, it was email from. For the facility rental checkout procedures. So these checkout procedures go to everybody that rents the facility. They get this. This has been something we've been doing since like January. They get these when they sign their contract, they get these about a week before their event. And then they get one when they get the key. So these are for them when they're done with their event on what they need to do. And one of the things to, notice, we asked them to report any non-functioning equipment or broken items. We've never had anybody report a non-functioning piece of equipment or broken item. So we do have something for the renters. We don't necessarily have something for ourselves, which is something that we can work on. That really goes for an entire preventative maintenance program for the entire facility. There's nothing when I started and it's not something that we've had capacity to get done while we've been working on everything else so far.
Yeah.
But it's on the to-do list. I think it's in the MOU and, it's just good management.
Yeah.
To do, so it's something I want to. I know that was one of the action items from the meeting was to bring you guys what we have.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's what I have for an update.
Okay. Thank you so much. Moving on to our business agenda, Astoria girls basketball team. Who's gonna be giving your little presentation tonight?
Yes.
All of us? All right, why don't you guys go ahead and stand up and come on forward? Oh, you go behind the podium and speak loudly into the mic.
Say, did you have a something you want me on a
No, I'm just joking.
But it's too much of a hassle to pull. It's just pictures.
You guys, I'm just joking. You can come over here.
Is it?
Yep, that right there. Look at me being prepared. And whatever, you can just click through it or whatever. You don't have to like wait on us or anything. Where this is.
Can you guys see that, Sarah and Mallory?
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so we have some talking points because we're a little bit nervous. We don't do this a lot, we get on the court, so but we just want to share with you a little bit today. I'm Coach Silva, for those of you who don't know. I'm the head girls basketball coach at Astoria High School. I brought a couple members of our team today to share a little bit about our program and ask for your help in assisting us to meet our fundraising goals. So we are scheduled to run our second annual casino night fundraiser here on Saturday, October 19th. And for those of you who don't know, we ran this fundraiser last year successfully for the first year and we outgrew the venue. So we felt like the fairgrounds was the perfect place for us to expand and hopefully grow this fundraiser. We also this year just created the Astoria Girls Basketball Club, which for those of you who are familiar with AYA, AYF, and AYB, we're sort of modeling our club off of their programs so that we have a way to fund Astoria girls basketball from the youth level on up. So that is the goal with the Casino Night fundraiser, is that we are trying to now facilitate fundraising for all levels of girls basketball in the area, in the Astoria area, I should say. So as many of you are probably aware, running a program costs a significant amount of money, from uniforms to equipment to feeding kids and travel. All of these expenses are our own expenses at the high school level. And unlike many schools throughout the state, and even in Clatsop County, our district budgets for our high school team starts with $0. So everything we do, everything, ladies wearing sweatshirts are things that they've earned by fundraising. So they put in their time for us to fundraise. So today we're here to share with you a little bit about what we're able to do by running this fundraiser and what we plan to do for the future. And our hope is that we can partner with the fairgrounds and in exchange for perhaps a donation of the venue, that we can help during the Clatsop County Fair in years to come, starting in 2025. So our hope is sort of to give back and partner in a way, and that's kind of what we're asking for today. So I'm gonna turn the floor over to these ladies and let them share their experiences with you.
Hi, my name is Mallory Dundas and I will be a returning senior this year.
My name is Shelby Bruni and I'm also a returning senior this year.
I'm Kate Barnsley and I am a returning junior this year. I'm Brooklyn Avalon and I'm a sophomore this year. So last year we accomplished so much as a team. Mainly, many in the community look at the end result and as the main accomplishment of our season. But in reality, there's so much more to our season that we were able to accomplish because of the generosity of our community and Casino Night.
One of our first team bonding experiences was our team retreat in Redmond. This was our first overnight outing together. We had just put together the team, finalized varsity. So this was our first outing as a group. We took time to learn about each other and set new team goals as well as personal goals. We also set team expectations that were 100% determined by us as players. We voted on our captains individually and had personal meetings with all of our coaches to get to know each other, that type of thing. We made team meals together, tried to run each other off the go-kart track. There's a couple slides of pictures for you guys to look at. And we also played some pretty competitive games of Pictionary. All in all, the retreat was only possible because of our fundraisers.
Our next big trip was to Phoenix, Arizona to play in the Tournament of Champions. This was a very big tournament, very competitive, with teams from all over the country. We faced a lot of adversity this tournament, losing our first 2 games and struggling to find our team identity and chemistry. But as Coach Silva tells us a lot, with adversity comes growth. We set the bar high and we learned to grow and compete together. Outside of competing in games, our flights, lodging, and team meals were all provided for us at no expense, because of our fundraising efforts. We did team yoga, which was a hit. We don't want to do that again. Cooked team meals and had a poolside pizza party in December. We even traveled down to watch and support our boys team in their tournament.
Next we have our gratitude project, which outside of competing on the basketball court, our program, we had a gratitude and service project, which helped serve the community during the holiday season. We adopted 4 Clatsop County families and spent afternoons shopping for gifts. We were able to provide the children of the family with needed clothing items, as well as several want items, including remote control trucks, video games, bedroom decor, and more. We were able to provide the families with essentials with items such as vacuum cleaners, air fryer, and a crock pot. We spent the afternoon wrapping gifts and asked the school counselors to deliver the items so that the families could remain anonymous. While we have loved to see their faces, it was a blessing to our program to be able to provide these items for these families. The funds of our service project came directly from our casino night fundraiser. Outside of our winter season, every June we compete in summer league basketball. This was my first summer with our team, and although I was nervous, I felt accepted and a part of the team from day one. We traveled to Portland, Forest Grove, and Salem to compete against 5A and 6A teams from across the state. Coach Silva challenged us to compete against bigger schools, and although we didn't always win, we learned how to compete through adversity. One of my favorite memories from the summer was our team road trip. We had lunch at the Cheesecake Factory and hung out at the Woodburn Outlet Mall. Coach Silva strives to keep both our in-season and summer programs cost-free to all the families. This is only made possible through our fundraising efforts.
To end an amazing season, we had a historical run in the 4A state tournament, finishing second, the best finish a girls basketball team from Astoria has ever had. Some of my favorite moments from the state tournament included our school send-off and the support we felt from our community and all the schools in our community. Our school and fans were most represented at the state tournament out of all the schools, which was really cool to see, and you could really feel the energy on the court. Our fundraiser was able to support the state tournament run in a variety of ways, some of those being providing hundreds of shirts for our school community and our student section. And also we helped fund the Rooter buses to bring all of those students to all of our games. So our team meals and our Airbnb was also provided thanks to all the donations for no additional cost to our parents.
One of the final ways our program was able to give back was the brick house makeover. So basically, the brick house, our gym, got a whole new coat of paint and new sponsorship signs. We were able to fully fund it and through our fundraising efforts, allowing us, not only us, but every club and sports team in Astoria High School to enjoy the new look. And the completion of this project, which was made possible by a team of awesome volunteers who provided many hours of their time, will be on full display for the first home game of volleyball.
We hope that you will see that our fundraising efforts stretch further than we could ever imagine. Our hope for this season fundraiser is not only to fully fund our program, but to continue to give back to Astoria School District community. Our ultimate fundraising goal for the future and beyond is to be able to fund our girls' youth basketball programs, so like from kindergarten all the way level and up. This will help create a more equitable athletic experience for all AHS girls basketball athletes. Your consideration in donating the venue for our casino night fundraising event will not only help fund the Astoria girls basketball program, but will help us lay the foundation to be able to continue to give back through our program. We thank you for your time and consideration. Thank you.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
You want me to flip through these? You want
Can
me to
I-
explain?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, 1 second, girls.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm not there today because I'm sick, but can you guys tell us what part of our facility you guys are renting? The main hall and the kitchen, I'm assuming?
So we're currently in the main hall,
Yes,
and you'd probably want to use our kitchen too.
yes,
Right?
I think that's
Yeah.
what we have.
Very cool.
Okay. Okay.
And what exactly were you asking for a donation? Full donation or partial donation?
We're asking for a donation of the venue. So if yeah, but obviously we're hopeful for whatever, we're grateful for whatever we
Yeah.
can do. And again, we're also hoping to partner with you all in, I don't know how it works, but we're happy to help with parking or other things during the Clatsop County Fair. So if there's a way that we can give back, I think every single one of us attended the fair this year. So we have a lot of kids in our program that are FFA members and things like that. So we want to be able to also give back, as well.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
I make a motion. Because I like these ones. To donate the full fee for Astoria High School's girls basketball team's fundraising event on October 19th, right? No, October 19th.
Yeah.
And I would love to second that. And I would just also like to say that that presentation right there is
Mhm.
what we look for. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better job. So great job, girls.
Amen. Yeah, nice work.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, congratulations, girls.
Thank you.
As a father of 4 girls, I'm very proud that you guys come up here and do that. Right? You also have a great coach,
Thanks.
right? That is leading you guys in doing this stuff and is giving you vision and drive. So good job. Okay. Moving on to the finance report.
First one.
Yep.
So there's still a lot of stuff that's trickling in for the fair. But that was some of the description I was trying to give you guys in that update. I didn't do one last weekend, but the weekend before. All of those prepaid expenses, like they've all this money that's been sitting in a revenue account that has to be gone through line by line and make sure now that the events happened, it gets moved into the appropriate spot.
Yeah.
So some of that's getting caught up. There's been several calls with finance getting that lined out. Some of those have yet to hit this register yet, but they'll start getting in there. They say this is really July.
Yeah.
So this doesn't even really have the fair expenses in it. So not a ton to see yet. Looks like we make the insurance payment that first month. Paid some fees, paid some dues. If you have any questions, let me know. We'll get the full audit report from 2023 sometime soon. Share that with you when it comes in.
Cool. All right. do you guys have anything for the good of the order, Sarah or Mallory?
Nothing here.
Okay, I just had one thing, you know, I've said it kind of over and over and over, but I'm gonna say it again. You know, this last few years has been just kind of rebuilding, right? This last year, or year and a half has been rebuilding. I am really excited for, I don't know, maybe one of the few to see where we're headed, because I can see progress, I can see improvement. And I know we're not perfect, but we're continually going to be getting better. And you know, all the event any work that has been done, you know, all the work that you've done, not so much you, but all the work that you've put in, right? All those hard work, all those hours trying to get things figured out and learn. And now you're ready to go and just send things off now this year, I'm guessing, right? And so, I'm excited to see where we're headed, and it's a good thing. And there's always going to be naysayers. Don't let that run you guys down, because there's always going to be people that throw out the negative, and you very rarely hear the positives. Right? There's those people that scream are the ones that have the negativity. The positive people are they kind of just keep quiet. So don't get discouraged. I'm really grateful for the work you guys are doing, and I think we're definitely headed in the right direction. We've just got more to learn. Right. So that's all I have.
Thank you. I say, I feel like we have a great team, and we're trying to figure out how to run this place.
Yeah.
But not a lot of roadmap from what's happened in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have one thing. I just couldn't get unmuted because my fingers were being weird.
Go ahead for it. Go, Sarah.
I just was wondering if we have yet to receive any applications for fair board yet.
I've seen one, and I can forward that to you. This guy, John, I can't say his last name. But I'll forward it to you. It came in the end of
Okay.
last week.
Okay.
That's the only one that I'm aware of so far, but they go straight to Teresa if somebody does an online form. And if they mail them in, then, you know, they go to the county manager's office somewhere. But
Okay.
I don't know if more people have applied that have sent in paper copies or not, but send you that one. I know it's the same guy that applied when Valerie and Sarah were appointed.
Yeah.
Do you want them done on paper then? Would that be?
No, it doesn't matter.
Cause I did mine online after the last meeting, so is that too long of a?
Okay,
I can ask tomorrow.
right, and I can certainly can.
You might have more online.
Yeah.
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 I don't know who's talking, but I will tell you when I did mine online, I ended up having to bug Kyle because I never got like a confirmation or anything. And I'm like, did they get it? Because I don't want to drop the ball here. So, but even following up with who you sent it to on the thing, that works too. But they'll let you know. But you have to reach out.
I would say recruit.
Yeah.
That's what I have to do for budget committee, so.
And you guys have it's been months and you still looking for.
I finally got a couple people from my district, but it takes, you gotta recruit.
All right.
I'll follow up with Teresa. I know Teresa's only working 4 days a week now. It's not working on Fridays. So, she may have some that she needs to forward on.
Okay. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you guys so much for coming in.
You guys can get comments on. Because we don't know if we're gonna be able to.